Hey guys, it's Mrs. MacPhail. Today your learning objective is to draw polygons in their congruent shapes. So I'm wondering, have you heard of something or anything being congruent before? It's kind of a fun word to say. Well, let's take a look at our vocabulary. Once again, these are all available on the Unit 6 page under Unit 6 vocabulary. This is lesson 6-10. And notice that my two congruent shapes, I have a pair of congruent shapes here. And a congruent shape means, or the word congruent is that it means it's exactly equal in size and shape, even though the position of it might be different. It's kind of like a mind trick a little bit, and you have to get your mind warmed up to the fact that these shapes can look different, but they might still be exactly equal in that size and shape. That's what it means when something is congruent. So let's take a look at some examples here. I wanted to tell you that since I love knowing how words are made up or what they mean, congruent is actually, it comes from the Latin word congruere. I think that's how you say it. Mrs. MacPhail isn't sure. But anyway, that word means to agree. So if you think about it, congruent shapes agree with each other. So I have my two triangles down here that are saying, we agree that we're the same, just laid out a different way. Their size and shape is still the same, even though the position or how it's rotated might look a little bit different. Pretty cool, huh? So congruent shapes agree. Now, how does something get the awesome title of being congruent? One of the ways that it can do this is by turning or rotating. So I have Pete the Prairie Dog here to help me, and this is where Pete the Prairie Dog starts. And then he's going to do his turn or rotation, and this is where he ended up. Even after his rotation or his turn, Pete the Prairie Dog still has the same size, the same area, the same angles, and the same length. He's still congruent with that turn or rotation. Now Pete's going to do some flips or reflections. He can do a vertical reflection, up and down, or he can do a horizontal reflection, side to side. Oh, I see a little bit of symmetry coming up here. It's kind of like there's that invisible line that he's reflecting over. Here it is with a vertical flip, and here it is with the horizontal flip. I could even draw this for you so you could see what I'm talking about. If you imagine that this would be the line of symmetry, that's the horizontal reflection. Even though I drew a vertical line, it's reflected horizontally. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line to show my vertical flip or reflection. So even after that, Pete the Prairie Dog still has the same size, the same area, the same angle, and the same length. He's congruent. Or we have a pair of congruent Pete the Prairie Dogs. Oh my goodness, we have a pair of congruent Pete the Prairie Dogs. Pete the Prairie Dog can also do the congruency slide, or another fancy word meaning translation, meaning that he can move position, but even after that slide, congruency slide, Pete the Prairie Dog still has the same size, area, angles, and length. We have a pair of congruent Pete the Prairie Dogs. Now I have a question for you. I'm wondering if Pete starts in this position and then he goes to this final bigger position, is he congruent? Or is this a pair of congruent Pete the Prairie Dogs? No, danger, danger, danger. Remember, if it's congruent, that means the shapes need to be the same size in order to qualify for that congruency award. So, going from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller does not mean it's congruent. Believe it or not, you can also do some really cool things. You don't just have to do a flip or a translation or a rotation in order to be congruent. You can combine them into one. Sometimes you can do a flip and a move. You can do a flip and a turn. So you can kind of combine these congruent ways, I guess you could say, and still have congruent shapes. So your learning objective was to be able to draw polygons in their congruent shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I understand I know what I'm doing by drawing a pair of congruent triangles. So I am going to draw my triangle, my 3 line segments, 3 angles. So that's actually a right triangle. Here's my first triangle. Now I have to draw a second congruent triangle. So on the computer, this is kind of a nifty way to do it. You can just highlight it, or select it, I guess you could say, and then copy it and paste it. So now I've duplicated my triangle, still the same size, still the same shape, but now I'm going to rotate it. Here's my pair of congruent triangles. Still the same shape, still the same size. I'm feeling kind of funky. I think I'm going to flip it. Still congruent. I think I'm going to make a translation, or the congruency slide, congruency slide. Still congruent. Have fun with this. Hope you enjoyed it.